Hey, that should hopefully do it, and hopefully now people can hear us. It wouldn't.
I will confirm in 13 seconds.
Oh boy, it wouldn't be a Maritime Foam live stream without not having the audio on for at least the first bit. We won't do anything entertaining until we have confirmation of sound.
Fair.
By our.
We'll sip on our Pepsis.
Maybe you should talk to your sound engineer.
I'm gonna give him a word.
Thumbs up. Good.
We got a thumbs up. All right, welcome everyone to Friday Night Foam on a Saturday. I'm so glad to have all of you here. I'm so glad to have my good friend Nerf Dog Matt here. It's been a while since we've streamed, that's for sure. I also have a couple special guests that we flew in on the Maritime Foam jet all the way from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. That's the province the Americans have heard of, not the province we're in, which is New Brunswick. We're above Nova Scotia. They're the ones who are close to Halifax. That's a city you guys have heard of too. They're from Dartmouth, which is across the river. You haven't heard of that one. But it's great to have you guys here. We have JEXXSTAR Foam here, and we have FOAMANDO. And I'm going to let them introduce each of themselves. They can choose to use real names or their pseudonyms, whatever they'd like to do. I'm also going to apologize. I still have a bit of a cough, so sometimes I will cough and make awful noises. Also, if you have any trouble hearing anyone else, we're kind of getting creative with the microphones here. Just let me know, and they will try to project and be loud as well. The reason you can't hear them now is I'm still talking. So, over to them, fellas.
Hey, glad to be here. After a nice, fun day of gaming, it's really nice to come back and be on Friday Night Foam. It's always fun to live stream. I'm FOAMANDO. Friends call me Joe. Go with whatever you want, but happy to be here and happy to bring my best bud from the DFC, which is the Dartmouth Foam Club. Maritime or Anthony, if I may, you've made it down a number of times to our events, and so it really felt nice to be able to return the favor and come up and play here with you guys.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Especially like the jet. I mean, it was so much quicker to get here
than
Jeep down the way. But
when you fly foam influencer private jet, there is just nothing like it. It's just no weight on the tarmac. Customs just waves you through because you're going province to province.
Exactly.
It is an experience.
Yeah, so I'm a JEXXSTAR Foam, and I'm in the DFC with Mr. FOAMANDO here, and I go by JP, and run a lot of events our way, and it's nice to come out your way. And excited to be here, dude.
Love to have you guys here. Let us know in the comments how your sound is for our friends here, because I can always get them to pick up the lav mic and use it as a little tiny microphone if that works a little bit better. I'm getting a lot of sound from a heater I have here in my garage.
Just turned off.
Which just turned off. So just never mind that at all. But if anything gets noisy, you guys just let me know. Matt, for those who are new and we haven't streamed in a while, sorry to surprise you there.
That's all right.
Introduce yourself.
Matt Ritchie. I have been coined the Nerf Dog by this young gentleman here. Friday Night Foam. What episode is this?
Oh, I don't know. I would call this season 3.
Season 3. Okay, season 3 of Friday Night Foam.
On Saturday.
On Saturday, right.
That's very... Picking the name Friday Night Foam was problematic from the first.
Friends with Anthony. Been to a couple of events down in Maryland. Played a couple events around here locally. I'm just happy to be here.
You're a modest guy. You're a heck of a player. You're also at the distinction of being the smallest member of the Mega Double XLs, which I feel that helps.
Sure.
You're faster than all of the rest of us.
Oh shucks.
We love you for it. Again, let me know. Is there anything happening in the chat there, fellas? Anyone saying we got some? Who we have out there?
We got General Strife, Scott Black, Jesse Roby, James Lee.
Welcome.
For the CR Nerf shirt, which is nice.
Oh,
one of my favorites.
Nice.
So that's always nice to get the love and show the love.
I should be wearing a Nerf shirt. Bill's CR Nerf. He's not watching the stream tonight. He's at his son's Rubik's Cube event. His priorities are messed up.
Rubik's Cube.
I thought we were friends.
Brickosaurus also just showed up.
Nice. Hey, Brickosaurus. Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you guys here. So it's been the first stream in a while, like I say. This is the new studio, if I can be pretentious like that. What it is, it's the back of my garage. But I am very happy to be here and have things loaded in. I got a great setup with a couple tool benches. Kind of note, I've kind of paused all my Etsy stuff. I keep looking at the laptop. I'm going to look at you guys. I've paused all my Etsy stuff. I've kind of paused doing parties. I want to get back focused on building weird stuff. I feel like you get kind of into the business side of Nerf, and I know you guys have had a little dabble of that too. And it's always cool when your hobby can make a few bucks, but man, it can kind of wear you down a little bit.
Absolutely.
Joe, the rig that I'm wearing here is actually from Joe. Joe makes all of this custom gear, and it is absolutely amazing. I ran with this today. Super comfy, super great. I felt so much cooler than I am.
Well,
And-
you looked cool too.
Thank you.
Although I will say, we all had the fancy gear, yet Matt was the VIP,
Ugh.
in my opinion, of the day. So maybe the gear doesn't make the man in every case. But you looked good out there, and you played well, and I think we all did. But yeah, certainly with. What I'll say is this: I have a passion for making gear.
Mhm.
I don't have a passion for selling it necessarily. If someone wants to buy it, that's fine, and people do buy it, and that's great. But someday my passion is going to move on to something else,
For sure.
and then maybe there won't be gear. Who knows? I always need to be creative. I always like to have some kind of output that way, where I'm making things, but it tends to shift. So even while it may be sewing for a long time, it may not always be gear. So you gotta, I guess my point is follow the passion.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. And I used to wonder sometimes on Etsy, I'd be like, how is this person not selling, let's say, an ammo counter for Nerf?
Yeah.
How are they not selling these anymore? They sold 300 of these. Everybody wanted them. Then you make the same thing 10 times and you're like, oh,
I get it.
Yeah.
that's why they're not selling them anymore. Because this is, and I don't want to be disrespectful either. I've appreciated every time there's ever been a sale. I'm like, someone wants to buy a thing that I'm making, even if a lot of cases I didn't design it, and in some small cases I did. There is that's cool, and I appreciate it, but it can be a bit of a grind.
Absolutely. I'm at the point where, for example, my belts, I've sold quite a few belts, and they're good belts and they work really well. But I don't get that same creative enjoyment out of making a belt when, you're on belt 20.
Yeah.
And even if it's for me, or even if it's for one of you guys, if it's still belt 20, it's, it's not quite the same.
You guys heard him. If you need a belt, you better get your order in fast. Belts are about to disappear forever.
Who knows? I mean, like I say, if someone's happy to pay me, I'm happy to do it. And most people watching, if they've looked at my stuff online, they know it's not cheap. But it's good. All my designs are generally military inspired, and I'm very, very fortunate to have some friends that are retired law enforcement, retired military. They're helping keep my designs on point, make sure everything's practical. Absolutely everything is battle tested by the DFC. We run all the gear extensively through multiple games before anything is going to go hit anyone else, really. So I know it's going to work. I can tell you personally it's going to work. So there's a lot of passion behind it. And at this point, I'm having a good time. What can I say?
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Chat, feel free to jump in. I just want to make sure, because awesome things are being said, I want to make sure you can hear these guys, because like I said, it's not their fault. It's just I have a creative mic set up here. And if it would be better if you feel like they're a little bit lower than myself, they can always hold a lav mic as a little tiny microphone. So feel free to pipe up, chat. You have the power, chat. So you tell us where it's at. So today, the reason that we're all hanging out here, we had a little event in the backyard at my house. So I'm going to be sharing some footage. I'm really bad for actually sharing battle footage, but I am going to with this stuff because it was just too much fun. Not to say other footage I haven't ever shared wasn't fun. It was too. But I do want to share some of this. We played in the backyard. We set up a bunch of barriers. There was just 5 of us. It's just a small little group. One person couldn't make it, so that was fine. We just traded off when someone was a little bit tired or someone wanted to reload. But we just did some team battles, and it was interesting because we used a bunch of high FPS stuff, which is great to practice with. Matt and I want to get we want to brush up on our skills before that next tournament, right?
Shooting on some moving targets.
That's right, and it is helpful. But we did a rough cut round. We did an awfuls round. I feel like a lot of us thought the rough cut round was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was as good as any of the rounds. It was just as fun as anything we did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like there's something about seeing those there's something about which is like the Nerf thing of like seeing those rounds in real time arcing towards your target, being like maybe no, or like like one boops off of somebody's head and you're like, yeah, I'm a sniper, and then we just did like we got out some silly stuff, not stuff from silly butts, although Joe has he has a blaster, a Cynthia here, but we he had a big LMG that he's going to show you later in the stream. We don't want the stream to accidentally get shut down, so we're being a little bit cautious about what's on screen. I have this out here. This is from Sand Shark Labs. It's his second blaster he's designed. It's called the Final Condition, and this is a flywheel shotgun. And it is, I'm going to just like take a second here, guys, and I'm going to fire. You can load up these shells with short darts or long darts. I'm going to put in these 2 shells. They have 6 short darts in each shell. You can fire both shells at once if you want. I hit these guys with some clouds of darts, and it was the best feeling in the world. I'm going to go down to the target cam. Boop, boop.
Made it rain.
There we go. There's target cam. I realized that the camera for the target cam, the target cam's in front of the targets, but that's fine. If you see a jiggle, that's why. But I'm gonna try to hit that shambling zombie here. And you know what? I think we got him because we just put 12 darts down his way. This thing was awesome to basically throw a cloud of darts at other people. I actually got a bunch of tags with this today, which part of me kind of wondered if this blaster was more awesome and not practical than practical, but for close quarters, I would say it actually was pretty. It was actually pretty practical,
especially with your sniper fire cover there. You can't mid ground, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then like this cloud and raining darts.
We had a good little combo of like having like high accuracy and then just like throwing handfuls of darts at people. That worked pretty well.
It certainly looked effective at medium range. Like it looked really effective.
I wish we'd filmed something slow-mo with like you down crouching low sniping and then me just like coming up from behind you with the cloud. Let's film that later. We'll do a little
You could set that up.
Yeah, just a little.
Well, when cool meets practical, like it's like a double whammy.
Oh, it's like when we met.
Sure. We'll let the chat decide which is which.
All right. I'm up for that. I'm gonna go back up to the. This is a screen that actually has the chat on screen.
Yeah,
I can't see it from here because it's too far away on my tiny laptop. I actually have a comfort monitor like the real pros have, but not in here. But my plan eventually is there'll be like a big TV that has the chat up there. It doesn't help us now.
No.
But it's going to be great someday.
I was a little quiet on the mic, so I'll lean in.
You know what? Just feel free, guys, when you're chatting, just share this, use it as a microphone. You don't even need to attach it. I would just basically like, or you can do that, but you can just like pass it back and forth, or aim it at JP as well. Don't leave your pal out.
Of course not.
I want to be able to make sure people can hear. Boy, I do like being closer to the chat. I wish I had like binoculars so I could see what it's saying. What are people saying in there, guys?
Let's see. They're just chatting amongst each other, basically.
How rude. How rude. They came here to put us and make us wallflowers in the corner?
Someone, Burkosaurus mentioned that someone he knew had their stream taken down for showing a stock striker.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, a striker 2.0.
I am kind of, but like all the Dart Zone stuff does is like, well, I mean, maybe not with the drum. It's silhouette-y enough, I guess.
The silhouette's the profile. I keep thinking of the colors, but it's not the colors, it's the silhouette.
Right.
Just looking for
the
hard edges of
a shape. Yeah.
It is annoying. I don't know what people do who actually like. There are a lot of actual weapons YouTube channels.
Well, that's just
it. I guess they don't.
I watch
stream?
a lot of it because I watch gear reviews for ideas and what to keep up with what's new.
Yeah.
I'm designing a plate carrier, like a full chest thing, and so like I've watched dozens of hours of plate carrier.
But maybe
reviews,
not streams. Like maybe they don't.
That's what it is.
Maybe they
They're
can't
not
stream.
streams.
But I don't really see what the difference is. But
makes me wonder if I should like tip that over back there.
I think it's fine. But it's
all right.
Seems to be. Seems to be all right.
What are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah. You got the big crazy LMG back there. You used that a little bit today?
Yeah, I did. I used it actually, and I got a tag with it, which was nice. I was able to provide cover fire, which was nice. And ultimately, I want to play test it. The the plan is I'd really like to take it to Maryland next year
Mhm.
and to use it as an LMG would be used with the squad, with the team,
Yep.
covering reloads, stuff like that. But we got to see because, belt fed that many, we did have a jam. I'm going to have to see if it's going to be practical or not and play around with it. And then, of course, make some complementary gear to go with it. What's the best way to bag feed those belts, that kind of thing. But, there's always a backup plan if the LMG doesn't work. But it's a really amazing piece. The mechanics behind it and the design work behind it, especially considering BYE, Busy Young Exec, the creator, it's his first or second, he's very new. And what it does is really amazing.
And that print quality is
it's
mint.
on point.
That's the crazy thing. Like you have someone like that, Sandshark Labs, like the Final Condition, that's their second blaster.
That's crazy.
And this blaster is so complicated. I was like, I will buy one, please. I was just like, I don't want, not that I don't want to make one, but I'm like, by the time I actually bought, he has hardware kits as well if you are interested in it, but it's got a lot going on. There's fuses in there to kind of protect it from burning out. He's a big fan of fuses, which is smart. I don't know why we don't do more of that in the hobby because I've burned out a few motors.
Protecting those motors, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was smart to do it too because I actually blew a fuse the second day I had it just because you're firing up to 12 darts through roller flywheels. It's not unreasonable that at some point, if you let off the rev trigger at the right point and then re-pull it, that you might get a jam. I mean, you got to be realistic. But it was great. I just literally just changed a 2-penny fuse and was off to go instead of it actually burning out motors. So
which would be a big problem.
Yeah, so smart is probably something I will start doing more of my builds when I have the room for sure. So
well, I did notice the PWM modules we ordered for making fun speed adjusters for Maryland. They came with extra fuses, and I think they're 30 amp fuses. So
those things are
not that we'd ever blow it, but it gets me to thinking maybe it would be easier or more practical to have something where you can just drop in a little replacement part.
I wish I do love those, and I love the one that Paper Skeletons 3D did. I wish they weren't quite so big. I wish there was a more of a happy medium between the little 5 amp PWMs because I've used a bunch of those. I've actually put them in blasters.
Yeah.
And that 30 amp one, it is pretty hefty. It's great. It is great in that, and I know Not Enough Nerf and Adam, I think, ran into it. They were chronographing and they're just too hot. And then off they went. Whereas I was just I'm sorry, this one doesn't work. Maybe this one. Oh, you had quite a time at chrono.
Don't get me started. I'd say
I'm getting you started.
I brought a lot of blasters, but 80% of them failed. What I like to say, and all due respect, maybe the chronographs in Canada run a little slower. Maybe that maple syrup clogging up the wheels.
Cold air.
The cold air. Because I definitely felt like things that were reliably hitting under at home were way over there. And I wasn't the only person. I definitely saw some other people frustrated. But at the end of the day, I was still able to have a great time. And I had my trusty Hurricane.
That sheer number, though, of blasters that you're putting through cronies and everyone wants to put those. That's 500 people, 3 or 4 blasters each. That's the amount of work there. But
I've kind of got to the point where chrono safe for me is 110.
Yeah.
Just to be
don't even get to that limit. Just step down a little bit and you won't even worry about it.
Yeah. It'll be different next year. And so, if I do take the LMG, I'll have a PWM on that. But blasters nowadays too, my backup plan right now is the Maxim Pro, and with that we can just throw some dummy AA's in there and bring that down no problem.
Yep.
So, my very first HVZ was Mark III with a couple dummy batteries to bring it down to 6 AA batteries instead of 8. So.
Yeah. And those they'll last you all day, and you're not worry about battery safety.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, HVZ, where you just pick out what you're going to use for the whole year. Oh, it's the best. It's the best part of it, though. You're what will I use? And then you go through all these crazy configurations, and then at the very end, you're but I want to use something I can win. It can't be anything that jams, and it needs to be high. I'm really guilty of at the last minute. I'm well, I'll also carry my PPU.
Sure.
Yeah,
which
and practical.
That's a bit wienery of me. I really should stick.
Are you calling Xbox and his wife wienery?
I
ran pew pews.
I'm calling you out, Xbox. You're a wiener with your pew pew. No, I mean there's a reason I do it too. It's because in the end you're just Well, the pew pew will basically fire. You could have a dart that you basically like dip in like dog poop and
And it'll
put
work?
it, and it will. The pew pew will be like, yep.
So
It
it's
will-
more like the poo poo.
Is
Like-
it is it
all
is it
that
poop
poo-poo.
sweep friendly? It'll,
It's
it'll
just
work in
like-
a poop sweep.
Like pew pew, like I think Dr. Flux and like Luchador, like pew pew don't care. Pew pew will fire. Like it might like fishtail or whatever, but like my pew pew is never jammed. It will fire
Any
whatever you put into it. Which for HBZ is good. Like because you're never like, oh, what if it jams? Like
Yeah.
it will not jam.
Reliability is
It's
number
not
one.
super. The pew pew is not super accurate, but it will not jam. And HVZ isn't an accuracy.
You don't need the
You just
accuracy.
need 6
yeah.
feet.
Spread.
Yeah.
6 to 8 feet is like.
But from one Joe backing up another, I think Mr. Fox is not a wiener.
Wow, wow, we got some real Xbox lovers on the chat.
They were really good to me in
I'm
Maryland.
I'm gonna talk like we're beefing
They
this whole time.
they were. I gotta have their backs. They were very, very good to me in Maryland.
I actually, when I went out to visit Captain Xavier with Al the Geek in Seattle, I had a great time. Just like I had a great time with all those guys, and Joe and Amy were there too, and like, but I had a great time. Like, just I don't know. I just found it fun to like
Beef with
try
them
to
a bit.
try to get tags in on Joe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's a compliment because he's good, right? Like
Yes.
he's like
Yeah.
he's fast. He knows he's always got those compression pants.
Yep.
So he's like just whenever I would hit, if I like managed to hit him a couple times, I was like, yeah, I got him.
And he's running a pew pew, so fair game.
Yeah. So no, he's really they're both super nice.
Actually, just finished up a couple of dump pouches to send to them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had seen that they had sent a lovely care package to shout out to our friend CR Nerf, and I thought, oh well, they need to get hooked up.
He
too.
was my friend until he went to his son's YouTube
Our former
or
your
Rubik's Cube.
What a square.
your former friend, the man known as CR Nerf, still my friend. So yeah, when I saw they did that, I figured that we should keep paying it forward and hook them up. So a couple of dump pouches are going their way. Should be hitting the post next week.
Well,
So hopefully you'll get it in time. Hopefully you'll get it in time for Christmas. And,
we have some Canadian drama in the post office up
yeah,
here, everyone.
anyway, but I hope you enjoy them.
Yeah, honestly, though, I feel like we're relatively new to the Nerf community, and just it's so giving and loving. Like it's more so than any other kind of community we've been in. So it's
Absolutely.
always nice to feel that. And as much as we throw some jabs across the way there to wieners and stuff, but you know,
I mean what I say. I don't.
You
Don't soften my words. I'm combative. I don't know. I'm not combative, and I want to be clear. When I said Bill's at a Rubik's Cube, I wasn't. I actually think a Rubik's Cube competition is really cool. My scoffing was at Bill choosing his
son?
family over this stream. I want to be clear. I don't want anyone to be like, "Oh, why is he being mean to Rubik's Cubes?" I'm not. I think that's cool.
I have one on my desk at work.
Oh, do you compete?
No.
Can you solve it? No. I have a secret shame of one time. I'm sure she knew. I peeled all the stickers off a Rubik's Cube and then put them on in the right place and told my mom I solved it, which is like pretty sad.
dog-eared squares.
Sorry, my pneumonia shame cough.
Sure.
That'd be amazing if that's what killed. I died. I just
Rubik's
admit my Rubik's Cube lie to my mother. Cough, keel over, and die. And
I
they're
hope
like,
not.
Confession there.
last words. If I do that, I gotta give one of you guys like the credentials to my channel so it
Sure.
lives on.
Yeah.
In...
Captain Shotgun would like to know where he can buy this awesome gear.
Well,
Wanna
thank you
plug anything?
thank you for the kind words, Captain Shotgun. If you want to reach out to me, basically privately on Instagram or Discord, that's where I can be reached. I very, very briefly had an Etsy store, but whereas everything, literally every single piece is completely custom to the user down to the thread color. Platforms like Etsy or even Shopify don't really let me properly showcase what I can do. And I want every customer experience for people to feel like they're really getting the special treatment and being treated like a Nerf friend. So I just do it all privately. So no website, no nothing. I'm not quite the Pew Tech of tactical gear, but maybe I think that's a really great business model. So yeah, reach out if you're interested. There's definitely a bit of a wait time involved, and I do having learned my lessons, like to ask for a little deposit up front, but feel free to reach out. I can make just about anything you'd want. My only limitations generally is I don't do all black.
Sure.
For obvious reasons. And obviously being colorful is my jam.
Right. Well, it's very colors are custom, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's I feel the beauty is that you can get the colors you want in like whatever order you want, and you just like really
and custom sizing too. If you've had bad luck, getting a belt to fit or anything like that, I can definitely make it work.
Yeah, I've been really. I feel like we're doing an infomercial for this.
No, I
like it though because I was about to contribute to that. Going, I actually just tried out this rig today, and I will say, big fan of this inverted chest rig here. So it's nice to be like because I have enough trouble like making sure like my pants stay up that it's like I don't need to hang too much off a belt.
I will talk a little bit about the bandolier or the invert or whatever. And part of that is that actually I'd like to share the history that I've learned, but also maybe learn some myself, because it could be that someone out there on chat knows a little more about this than me. I've just done the homework that I've done. Mm-hmm. But my understanding is that bandoliers of this style, inverted style, started in the mid 1800s in Alaska. And it was done so that you could have a hand cannon under a jacket, unzip, pull it out, and shoot the polar bear. Basically, is the idea. And that so people of all shapes and sizes.
We should have dressed you up as a polar bear today.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
That would have been
polar bears.
a good game type.
Also, so that you could, people of all shapes and sizes, whether you're built that way naturally or maybe just bundled up for the cold, it's gonna fit a lot of body types this way. It goes on quickly, comes off quickly. So originally it's known as an Alaskan chest holster, an Alaskan chest rig. And then I think it's ICP. Anyway, a company popularized it and they called it an invert because the inverted system. And one thing they advertise about it that they really got right is that the pull down up method is really, really efficient as far as like speed and space. There isn't really a better way to quickly reload. Yep. So it really does work really well. You can see with Anthony's rig, he's got a pistol set up. JEXXSTAR and I, we've got mags. You've got some flexibility, but this is really, really a good piece. I think this works for everybody.
And you were talking a little bit about like something you want to brush up on for Maryland next year
is reloading.
Yeah.
So, I got tagged once today specifically because I couldn't reload.
Right. Yeah. Well,
when I came around the corner.
You came around the corner.
I
jammed my magazine and then went.
Matt got tagged once today.
I got tagged at least 3 times.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm like, because that's not something I know you like. I know you practice reloading and stuff, which is smart. Yeah. I don't, and I'm really bad. I'm really bad at it. My mags and stuff are just all over the field out there. I'm just like and like throw a mag and like try to fumble one back in.
It's one of those things where if you don't practice and you find yourself in a high stress position or high stress situation, you will not get it right.
No, you're even worse.
But I feel like when we just get together for fun, you just like, okay, you know what? Let's just set it up so that you put your gear on, not just picking off the table, and you just try to mechanically learn how to do it over and over again. It sounds like a little repetitive, but really you feel good when like, okay, well now I could like unload all my mags in how long, right? And you get like,
and if you're hanging out, making kind of a game of it too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like I feel like it might be like a little bit like if I'm just out here in the garage, like like. Deanna's like, I was like, are you coming here? Are you coming to bed? I'm just like, gonna drill. And I'm just like down here by myself. Just like John Wick timing myself. Like, there's something sad about that, maybe. Unless that's how you do it, in which it's not sad.
I'll admit,
fine.
I'll admit, I do a little bit on my own, but we like to have range nights at my place. Like, I am fortunate enough that my lovely wife and better half has let me basically have the whole garage.
What are you talking about?
So we've got a bit of an armory and a range set up, and that's where if any of you see my YouTube footage, that's where it's all been filmed. So we'll have range nights where JEXXSTAR and 01 Tech will come over and we'll just set up the paper targets and just do it. So it's for fun, but it is practice.
Yep.
And the other thing is, as I said, all the gear I make has to be tested. I have to know it works. So that involves getting up there and doing it.
Yep.
Now, maybe if I did it on camera a little more, my YouTube channel would have had an update in the last 4 or 5 months. But hey, I've been sewing and busy, and that's life.
I always like to think too, like for me, it's like, it's about what do you really want to get out of it? And it's like kind of, it's enjoying the hobby, meeting people, and you're doing that through just another
I am.
alternative
Yeah.
method, really. So
We have a no stress rule, like even like the events that we kind of play and all the stuff we do, and sometimes like you feel like and we're like, you know what, it's Nerf, like just
Right.
chill
Mhm.
and like whatever you want to do, whatever it is, like there's like I couldn't imagine having like deadlines and having like accountable things you have to do for others. So I could totally understand why you're taking a break, because like it's not like you do this full time. You have a job, I assume, right? So,
I do
For now.
for now, yep.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Well, it's easy to get started because I think no matter what you do, you want things to be good. Like even today, just for you jerks coming over, I was just like, oh my god, I'm running late. I gotta get everything set up. I have to have everything done. I gotta have some snacks, and I need to pick up some and I'm like, I don't know, why am I? It'll be fine, and it was fine.
It was great.
Great.
It was a
More
good
than
time.
fine.
Fine, yeah, fine's a little undercutting.
I thought you were gonna say, yeah, fine's about right. What's the chat saying? What do we got going on
Captain
there?
Shotgun, who asked about the gears, only on Facebook. Can you reach you on Facebook?
I could reach him on Facebook.
Okay.
You know what? I'll connect you guys. I know.
If you know Shotgun,
yeah, I've
if
chatted
you
with.
could, if you could,
I've chatted with Captain Shotgun enough that I can.
Yeah.
I'll hook you guys up.
that'd be
I'll
great.
send him a note. Maybe I get an email or something too.
Yeah.
So we'll get you guys connected
Shotgun
for sure.
will make it happen.
Just so you guys know too, my phone is like what's filming. I'm not just like someone tell me what's in the chat. That's not like if I had my phone, I would just look at the chat. Okay, I can't. It's too far. I just in case anyone's like, well, this guy's a lot. He's got a jet now. He's flying people in.
He's also asking what your YouTube name is, Joe.
FOAMANDO Canada, FOAMANDO Canada on YouTube, and FOAMANDO on Instagram.
And FOAMANDO with a shared M.
Yes, shared M.
But I think in your description or one of your last tags, Insta, you had him tagged.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. But if he's not on Insta, you wouldn't see that. But
True.
I'll in this chat, I'll add to the description.
Also,
too.
Shotgun, I've seen you around in all the other chats. I know who you are. If now that I know you're interested in getting in touch, I'll make sure we make it happen. I think I see you pretty regularly on Wallcoms, which is also a Saturday night thing.
Oh,
I know.
Shotgun is here.
that's who I'm beefing with. Remember? I'm beefing with.
Are you
Wallcom.
beefing with
Oh,
Wallcom? I didn't remember there was a
Hey,
wall. What?
Wallcom's my buddy. Let's keep it cool. Wallcom's my buddy.
Do you have a Wallcom? What's your Wallcom
I
beef?
can't remember what it was.
Oh
but
no.
They were beefing.
Oh.
As with any good beef, I have no idea what it's about.
Okay,
fair.
all right.
Fair.
I was like, oh geez. Well, because I have a surprise. He's in that
Here.
cabinet. Come on in. That'd be a good. That's he's not here. I do hope to have him on Friday Night Foam sometime. I would like to do that. It was really cool when I was out to Seattle to visit Captain Xavier with All the Geek. I actually got to do a live stream with what we hung out with Wallcom. Did a live stream. The live stream went until I think I actually accidentally unplugged the router.
Whoops.
So yay me. But he was, you know what? He was super kind. Brought us into the shop, showed us all the stuff, did a stream with us. It was really cool for me. Like I know, I don't like most YouTubers. I don't always agree with every review, but I always appreciate that. He comes in with a hard this is my opinion on this thing, and
Passion.
I like that. I like that he comes in really, really heavily on stuff. He's not, because I can be a bit of a waffler sometimes. I'm like, oh, everyone's trying their best. Everything's great. I like these. This is garbage. This is not. Except I have decided the Nerf N Series pinpoint is trash. I'm tired of running birthday parties and having children bring it to me jammed with darts literally in spirals in the barrel, and the last broken parts, and I've thrown them out. I'm done with them. And there's blasters I like in that series, but man, the pinpoint.
I don't think Wallcom's an N strike adopter anyway.
No, he's not. Here's the thing. I think if you're gonna make a blaster series, so what I liked about N1, I'm gonna make this an N1 thing. I really was brainwashed when I went to headquarters. They were they put a headset on me, and it just flashed into my eyes you will bring up N1 darts every chance you get. But I will say I like that they were trying to eliminate some of the factors that are difficult for kids. But in my mind, they had two huge misses. One, those mags, they should have been reversible because kids load them backwards. And if you load those backwards because of the shape, you got to dig those out with a screwdriver. That's not kid friendly. That sucks.
Yeah, that's
And I've loaded them wrong. Like anyone can do it. Kids always load everything backwards the first time, every single time.
Yep.
The other thing is, so the agility, the N series agility does it right. When you prime the agility, it has a spring return, and like so you just pull it out and you let it go. The pinpoint, anything where you have to like ratchet something back and ratchet it firmly back into place, you are doomed from children ever using it correctly. I love children. I'm not anti-children. I run parties. I want them to be happy and able to use blasters. But something like the pinpoint is not it. They can't use it. I will go so far as to say they are incapable of using the pinpoint successfully. That is my hard take on that. So take that, all you jerks that said I was a sellout to Hasbro. I don't like the pinpoint, okay? Now, when the overlords come and they take away my stipend that they pay me to say good things about them, I'll have to give up all this.
Matt, have you tried the N series at all?
Very briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
At the apartment.
Yeah. I mean, like
Not
it's,
your birthday, no? No parties for you.
No
parties for-
free parties for
Hey,
me.
we had a birthday
yeah,
party today.
that was
Yeah,
cool.
we did.
One of the
We
guys
did.
who came, Jeremy Dragon Hunter, Demon Hunter on Instagram. He came today. He hung out with us, and at one point he's like, "Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, it's my
actually my birthday today." I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm like-
putting us first. Not
and I was
his
like,
family.
"You got a free birthday party out of me, you son of a..." But no, I was glad that he actually made it out on his birthday. That's a big deal. Like five gray in their beards people. Well, yeah, I'm convinced if you had a
If
beard,
you had one, yeah.
well, you know what?
Maybe I'll grow
not.
it out and show you. No,
Oh no,
No, no.
you're probably not.
there's no gray. Not yet.
You bristled when
You-
I suggested you had.
Do you know
gray
what?
earlier.
Do you know what? Honestly, the secret is keep your YouTube channel at under 1,000 subs.
I thought you were
It's
gonna
my
say no
secret.
kids.
I
Oh,
thought
that
so
might
too.
have. That might have.
Yeah. I love my children too. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
What's going on, chat? James is lamenting here that he did not fire a single shot at Maryland. I assume for the HVZ.
Yeah,
Oh.
you know, I felt bad. He's a great guy. He's actually shout out Goonies. He's part of our
Okay.
international team.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, James. He got tagged early. Early enough that next year, if we wanted to maybe call him a VIP, let's keep this guy
shield
safe.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Even for an hour, you know, like,
Okay.
because I think he got tagged in like 10 or 15 minutes,
Oh.
and he drove 18 hours to get there, same as we did.
Oh,
Like they
Oh.
drove from Florida, so similar, like 16
Right.
to 18 hours. And don't get me wrong, he had a great time, same
Right,
as
that's
we all did.
Rough though.
And he's a really great guy, really nice guy. I actually hung out with him a fair bit and got to know him. We met him through Not Enough Nerf,
Yeah.
who's also great guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've kind of been friends since and in regular touch, and now along with some
Goons.
DFC, sorry guys, but you kind of have your own team, but we're maybe forming up a little something on our own with
Oh,
the
fine.
You
Goonies.
guys.
It's
Shout
fine,
out,
it's
shout out
fine.
Goonies. Shout out to the international Goonies, and we've got some. If I started throwing names at you, you might even know some of them.
I didn't.
Whoa.
I didn't realize this is a throwdown
Is this a
chat.
beef?
I,
No,
I,
well, see, that's
Dude,
no beef.
I thought we were
Not with
having
you.
fun
You're
here.
too good.
I've
seen you play.
The very first event I went to was the PA Survival Fest 3 years ago now. I got kind of I got a few things from Franz Foam Works
Mhm.
to review, and it had some stuff around the HVZ, and I was like, you know what? If I was ever going to go to one and go all that way, go into one where at least like I've been in contact a little bit with somebody, and I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. It wasn't that early. Like I got through the first mission, and I did I got to get a few zombies, but so they had a Friday night mission 0
Mhm.
where like everyone ends up being a zombie at the end of it, and like that was great. Thank goodness they did, because that was an awesome experience. But on the Saturday, like I was tagged probably in an hour.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I drove so far. I just tried to good attitude about it. A Buff Daddy Nerf, actually, Blaster Hub is the one who tagged me. It's just that the things you learn, right? Like I was just someone was like bouncing a tank back and forth with me, and I just went a long time and never looked behind me. And he was able to run literally almost across a field and get me. So it was my own fault, and I certainly will say I've gotten better because of that, because I'm like try to be head on a swivel about that.
And the guy that got at Maryland this year, that got Matt and I
Yes.
within 10 seconds of each
Yep.
other, got over 50 tags that day.
Yep.
He had a shield and he was basically Captain America zombie, as far as
Right.
I'm concerned. Like, if he's there next year, he'll get me again, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, when
he's that
someone's
good.
really good with
Yeah,
a
he's
shield, it's
very, very good.
hard. It's hard when someone's
Yeah,
really good with a
those
shield.
brains.
Yeah. I'd like to last a little longer next year.
I'd be curious, as we're talking about it kind of earlier in the day, how they kind of flip the days, right? So how
Yeah.
HVZ, sorry, Canadian HVZ is the second day. So I'm curious if the 11th hour will get more play and all that.
I think HVZ is the third
day
day.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
third
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
last.
a Sunday.
It's last. So 11th hour is
yeah,
second.
They rotate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think it'll be good. I'm curious to see what people think about that too. I think it'll be good because it'll be nice to have more people at the vendor fair part of it. I'm sure that it'd be good for vendors for sure. I don't know that I think I'll have a table this year, but I might not even sell much stuff. I might just have a table as a hangout point, a place for stickers and stuff like that.
That's what I'm planning as well. I'm not selling anything. I'll just maybe take orders, but I'll have some demo stuff just to show.
Yeah. It's because you miss out on stuff if you're doing that. But I don't know. I think it'll be good. We'll have to figure out like the driving and stuff too, because like like I don't know. I mean, we'll probably have to leave the next day, but it'd just be like I'd have like leaving at the crack of dawn after doing the HPZ where my thighs are hamburger probably from like sweating all day and 3 days of stuff. But we'll figure that out for sure. But yeah, I think it'll be good. We're talking a lot about Maryland. Like I almost consider Maryland like a weird way, even though it's so far, like a home event, just because there's so many cool people that we've met, and it's such a rally point. Like last year, so many people went to Maryland.
Yeah.
Like if you were ever going to make the trek for an event, like at this point, Maryland is really the one to do.
In May too, so that's I'm curious if it's gonna make it like even warmer. I don't know, like Maryland weather.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's usually warm enough.
It was pretty warm, yeah.
But yeah, because you'll be going for your first time.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe it'll be. I don't know if I'll be wearing a t-shirt. Like speaking of being cool today, Mr. T-shirt there.
Like
you're wearing Duke and
you mean you're not going to wear any shirt at all?
Yeah, why not? I'll wear just the bando and just why not, right?
Well, not that we've talked about not wanting to get the stream shut down, but it has been. I have been commented that my gear is not that far removed from S&M type equipment.
Wow!
And I recently got a mannequin because for sewing and all that. I want it for displaying gear and fitting.
We all have mannequins, Joe. I have one.
But I'll tell you this: until I put jeans and my Not Enough Nerf T-shirt on it. It was a little creepy.
Right.
Like I just had gear, and I was like, I don't know if I like this guy.
Did you make a Not Enough Nerf toy for your office?
I might have named him Manny.
Does that mannequin have a beard? If it does,
actually, no, it does not have a beard.
I'm going to tell
promise you, it does not
right.
have a beard, and
That's
I can back that up with photos.
All right, perfect. That's good. I don't want to see those photos.
Don't get this stream shut down.
No, we're on our way.
Captain's asking who's going to be in Maryland. I think everyone in this room.
Yeah,
everyone in this room, and we're going to try to pull some extra people down too. We're actually the other guy, Jeremy, who was here. We're like trying to plant that seed for him of like, hey, you should come check it out. Anyone like if you're into, I'm actually quite amazed at how many people I talk to who've been doing this stuff way longer than I have, who've never made it to a big event. And I know it's not always easy to do. It can be a lot of traveling. Not everyone can like pick up and drive 20 hours or whatever. But I will say, like, when it's a year out, squirrel away what you can, and if you can make it, it's such a cool experience. So, like, it's hard to recreate.
Sierra mentioned he's probably going to bring a convoy this year.
Yeah. Bill's coming from Cedar Rapids, and he's going to bring a few people. And
we'll also be bringing 01 Tech.
Yeah, 01
and actually, can I give a little shout out? I don't mean to bring it back to the gear again, but he had his 01 Tech, a big piece of some of the gear we're all wearing. The crunch wrap system, our mag holders, specifically. I came up with the idea, and these are, if you've heard of a taco mag, you can see what I've done here. But I don't know how to CAD. I don't know how to design. I don't know any of that. And I don't really want to learn. So enter 01 Tech, the mad scientist, genius designer who I just explained. Yeah, can you make something roughly like this out of this crayon drawing? And he created the digital files for us to be able to print the plastic pieces for this. So shout out to 01 Tech, and he'll be joining us in Maryland as well.
Yeah, so I mean that's that's so great. I really love that 01 Tech. He's done. If you look up 01 Tech on Instagram, and kind of go back a few years, he's designed a bunch of stuff. He had a really cool tactical barricade, tactical versions of the Nerf rival takedown. Like, he's done a lot of cool stuff. He's been around Nerf for quite a while, and we kind of got introduced at one point just over Instagram, just because I saw like a Canadian flag in his thing, and I realized he was from Nova Scotia, and it was early on. I'm like, another person who's like only 4 hours away. And I actually ended up going down one time. I was visiting a friend, went over to his house, went into his house, and he and I, to his wife's like confused look, went down into the basement and just talked about Nerf for a long time. And then I introduced him to these guys, and it's really cool because Zero One Tech was, I don't think I'm like over speaking, but like, he's been in the hobby for a long time, but he hadn't done a lot of stuff with other folks. Like, he'd done some stuff. He's in the military. He'd done some like set up, I think, a few little fun games with some of his coworkers and stuff, but like not people who are like as into it as he was. Mm-hmm. And that's a cool feeling when you actually get to hang out with like the other nerds who are as into it as you are. Yeah. So it's so cool that he's ended up being like he, has a group now, right? Like, that's cool when you can do that.
That was one of the best things. It's just like those connections, and you realize like, everyone kind of brings a little something to the table, and we started we do our events like every now and then, our F5s, and I feel that, yeah, it's nice to have people to play with. It does sound like a toddler, but
and to give you a shout out, without you, there wouldn't be F5 events. If it weren't for you, the club would be in my garage shooting targets still. That's it. And we have events usually monthly. We've had indoor and outdoor. We've got a space rental. Pretty good numbers. We've had up to 30 people at one time. Was I think our biggest. Usually average of about like 15, which is nice. Lots of kids, fun games, and yeah, if it wasn't for my man JEXXSTAR, none of that would be happening. So you're our event guy for sure.
Well, it's nice, and you say 4 hour drive. I'm not sure like where some people are like 4 hours, but you've driven out a few times, and I feel like when because we talked for a little bit before I set up, because you want how you get so many questions about what makes a good event, and you want to have certain success, even if it's just between like friends and stuff. 4 people, 5 people, you just really want to rock it. But it's nice that I really appreciate the time, and you run it, and then you could kind of cross-reference those ideas and come back to it. I'm definitely going to bring a few things home from today and make it work and plan for my kids.
It's interesting too, because I have people pretty often who are like, "Oh, I wish there were events near me. I wish that there were people that would play." Like, you really don't need a lot of people. Like, we had some fun games today with 4 people. We'll try to grow some of the. I was happy it wasn't too much bigger for like in my backyard and stuff, but like, you can grow from there. But you don't need that many people. That's why it's good to go to events and actually like all of a sudden you put a face to a name of someone maybe you've been talking to online for years, and you're like, well, now we kind of feel like we know each other a bit more. And then, well, maybe you're only 2 hours away from me. Maybe we can like plan a thing sometime. So anyway, it's it's cool. What's the old chat saying?
Captain the Shotgun's also asking about the Worker Kunlun.
Oh yeah,
what we think of the Kunlun? Yeah. It looks really cool. I do like my bolt action. I mean, there's a couple of bolt action blasters I brought just over there. It looks really cool, but for me, it's still too close to a Harrier that. Like, I have a Harrier, so I can't see getting a Kunlun when I have a Harrier. But I do think they're cool. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think we have the same opinion that in the high FPS pro space, like the weird gimmicky things are less attractive.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how often I would use a bolt action high FPS rifle.
Well, if you're playing because we separate our events, even today, we kind of pro kind of games where you're taking cover, and you guys are like really playing well off each other. By the way, I think you guys maybe practice.
We are professionals. We are professionals.
But really,
we're looking at 8th place of the 2023 Maryland.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like that's still top 10, right?
Sure,
So, then playing the rough cuts, I feel like if you're gonna do gimmick, you might as well do it on a lower FPS, because it kind of opens up maybe more. Like, are you going to spend the money on that?
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I love gimmicks all day, but for gimmicky stuff, for me, it's more fun for like plinking and just like wandering around the house. I'm not going to wander around the house and fire a 200 FPS bolt action blaster
break
and things,
something.
and put
the
dents in the cupboard and stuff. Like I have a little. No, I shipped it out. I've had a couple Lidl Dynamics Giselas,
Yeah.
and like the bolt action breech load one where you drop. You would think like, oh, it'd be better to have the mag fed one, but like you pull it back, the breech pops up, you put your little one short dart in there, and it like goes down into the breech, and you close it up. What a fun plinker! I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite Lidl blasters. I have zero interest in a plastic injected $300 version of that shoots 250.
Fair enough.
I don't
300
know.
plus shipping plus duty.
So well, but here's where I would be like. So you know what would change that, turn that rate on its head? I talked about this a little bit before. I've loved our experience with the pro tournament, like the tournaments and stuff. Like it's really fun. Like it's not like my wheelhouse for sure, but it's fun. I wish that the tournaments weren't quite. I wish there was a little bit more of the, and I'm not detracting from anyone who puts all the work in. I wish there was a little bit more of the spirit of silliness in them. Like I almost wish it was like
classes.
And we talked about this a bit, where it's like you get your team of 5. One of you has to use something shell ejecting.
Yeah.
One of you has to use something bolt action.
Yeah.
Right.
One of you can use a flywheeler. One of you has to use lever. I don't know. Like I realize that would make it. Well, you know what? I'm gonna just say it. I have zero sympathy for anyone who's like, well, we need to make things more accessible. Not for the tournament. You guys have like thousands of dollars of blasters on your body.
Yep.
If I tell you to make a blaster that you have to prime by squeezing your knees together, boo-hoo. You have the means. You have the means and the money to do it, tournament people. You guys have so many blasters. So do I. I'm all for making things accessible, but you don't count, tournament people.
Fair.
I will list out 5 weird blasters, and you will make them. So anyway, we'll see.
I do like that idea though. Of like it injects some kind of randomness and kind of thought process behind your strategies. Like,
Right.
It would change a lot, I think, if you were forced into different decisions.
And we're hoping to do a little bit of that with our team at Maryland next year, not in the pro tournament, but at HVZ, and actually work as a team and as a squad properly. And
it works well when people do. Like I know Captain Xavier, from talking to him, he certainly had a lot of HVZs where he basically decides, well, now it's time to die.
Yeah,
because we've like held the zombies off.
Because he knows how to work as a team and to run people properly, and when equipped properly, they can hold the zombies off.
He has zero issues with giving people orders.
Yeah,
that is.
I've seen it.
You know?
He is a captain. He's like, but like,
captain.
and he like, I mean, he's very upfront about it. He wants people with experience. Like he usually gets people with experience. Like he like if you're reloading, I expect you to take a knee so other people can shoot over. Like he's super legit and serious, and I think that like. But he has a lot of LARP, like he has a lot of live action role play experience. So it makes sense. Like he wants to do it and do it like it means something, which I totally respect. Like I totally get that.
Absolutely.
Well, role players are good, right? Like, and way you can, if everyone has like the exact same thing and like are trying to do the same thing, that you're not covering the spread. Because like getting back to this like crazy flywheel,
Blunderbuss.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I'm like, ooh, I could just like kind of creep up, but like like the sniping ability from behind, you're watching that. I'm like, you're not gonna hit me, but then you're literally made it rain, and it just made it more fun than just people sitting behind cover and just trying to like flank each other.
Well, we had some good laughs. I think at a couple of the tags, where it was literally like throwing a handful of darts at somebody. But that's the fun of it. I mean, it is fun too to get a precise shot from across the field is also like it's all fun. Like I would never be like that way is wrong, this one is right. I've kind of thought before, like I almost wish after the like pro tournament there was like a silly tournament where it's like the teams is like now you're gonna play like. I mean, it's too big of a tournament to do that, but like it would be cool to see like all these people who play seriously and play together, like
Roblox weapons zone.
Well,
I love that. Only Roblox round. You're like, oh shit.
Great. There's silly, and then there's I'm sure.
That would be just out there with the Adopt Me Bees blaster going, oh my fingers hurt so much from priming this.
But if you're running your own event, I feel like it's trying to find that balance, and it's probably easier to do in a smaller event,
For sure.
And it's I like if I feel like, like if you kind of compare like hobbies of like, getting together with groups of people and flinging stuff at each other, be it paintball or those little plastic balls, I feel that Nerf kind of, and foam in general, adds that kind of quirky, like, oh, you got me. It's not like, I feel like, I don't like pout and like get upset that you got me. I kind of like, wow, that was a good one. I appreciate that, especially if
Speak for yourself. I was so angry.
Oh,
Every
No,
time.
you weren't. You
Every time.
sarcastic
No.
man.
Be
No,
a wiener.
you were given props.
No, I was furious.
I,
was like,
didn't protest anything today.
No,
No, you didn't get hit. You did once to protest. Landing headshots, not
Yeah,
getting
so-
hit.
No, Matt's a really good sport when he wins.
But back to birthday boy, like Jeremy was like, he was dodging and like some of it's like almost like a dance, like especially when you're
Yeah.
going with the lower
Lower
FPS
FPS.
and you're
Yeah,
able
you
to
can
see, like,
enter the matrix.
Yeah.
So,
So Jeremy occasionally uses a cane just to help with some issues, and he was like literally dodging like he was Neo in the Matrix. He was like dodging shots from the rough cut, and like we were just having, I don't know, we were having such a blast. He's like taking out like that's what I love to see. Like that is the cool thing about the lower FPS
he
stuff.
was
is
really
like,
good. He
Yeah.
was really on point.
He might be paying for it now, but he was good.
Well,
already.
I think that's what happens. Every time we do play together, I'm pretty sure he pushes himself. Like
Too far.
I think he pushes himself for sure because
I
he
can
always does
relate to
really
that.
well.
I can relate.
So he's a super nice guy too. It's funny. I met Jeremy because he won a contest that Not Enough Nerf was doing. Not Enough Nerf is in Florida.
Right.
Jeremy won a contest on his YouTube channel. Needed to deliver X-Shot Fortress to the prize winner, and when he looked him up and looked up the shipping, he's like, I think this guy's like 10 minutes from you. Would you mind if would you mind delivering
Yeah.
like picking up one locally? So I like did a Not Enough Nerf presentation to Jeremy.
That's
So
awesome.
that's how we met, and we talked a bit, and he like makes meowsers and like he builds all sorts of stuff. So I was like, oh, it's so cool. There's someone else who does all that. So handy. So
Yeah, it turns out we'd been following each other on Instagram for a while, so it was really nice to put a face to a handle.
Yeah. No, he's pretty active on
That's
stuff.
my
Yeah.
favorite thing too. Who are you again?
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
like whatever social media, you know what I mean? Like it's not like, I mean, some people like to like go with their handle and like their
Yeah.
identity, and I find there's a balance too, right? But it's,
For sure. I remember meeting Adam.
Adam, I was gonna mention
Adam's
him.
Adam's like 9.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
So like I went over, I was going with him, and he was like, this guy was standing there. He's like, hello. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like going about my thing, and then eventually he introduced himself because he never shows his face on camera either.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know. Had no idea what he even looked like. So it's awesome to put faces to names.
Actually, to shout out Adam, we're very fortunate. Adam, aka Paper Skeletons 3D, is a member of the Goonies. So yeah,
Hey, you guy, what's up?
yeah, we're racking up the celebrities
This
here.
is
You
that-
never die, right? So
Is that the round call? Is that going to be your round?
I think
We've-
Goonies is like
We've considered that.
Yeah.
It seems I wouldn't want to offend anyone using a gender-based statement. That's the only thing.
Sure.
I have a number of gigs. One of the places I work, I work part-time at a fabric store, which helps supplement the business. And it's one of the most inclusive spaces I've ever been a part of. And the people I work with are wonderful, wonderful people. And I don't know that I don't know that saying "Hey, you guys" is going to make everyone happy. Goonies has
Never die.
Goonies has aged well, very well, but maybe not impeccably.
Sure.
But the spirit,
Very few shows that we watch
right?
with kids. of age,
But the
so.
spirit of Goonies, true spirit of Goonies remains. And so, hey, you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's always funny. There have been so many shows where I'm like, "Come, daughter, we will watch this show from my youth that was so great." And like 10 minutes later, you're like, "Oh,
No.
I think he's kind of technically raping this
Yeah,
person."
yeah.
You're like, "Oh my god!"
Don't
like,
watch Monster Squad. Like there's all
oh
these
my
ones
god!
I
Like
watch.
Back to the Future has some like crazy. I'm like, "Oh, this is
A little over the top.
This is
I know
bad.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But
So-
I mean,
You're trying to I'm always like trying to explain like, and I don't just say it was a different time. Get over it. I'm just like,
get off your.
it sucks that like all of this stuff was accepted.
Goonies is pretty wholesome. I will say this: I tried to show Goonies to your kids, and it was just too slow paced.
Well, that's
Like,
it. Like,
that's
can
a
you
lot
watch
of it,
something that's
yeah.
more than like a minute long? Like, come on, sorry. Yeah, like it's funny. We're watching like on YouTube, and the commercial comes on, and I go to skip. Like, no, I want to watch a commercial. I'm like, how did this whip. Like,
Yeah.
you just want
Right.
to watch like 30-second, video. But whatever. Now I sound like
Oh,
an
yeah.
old man too.
No,
right?
people. No, they're. I mean, pacing of movies has changed
Yeah, for sure.
immensely, for sure. I wish.
Oh,
I
someone's suggesting Mega Double XL only allowed to use the large ammo. Oh,
Let's
yeah.
not handicap ourselves even further.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
yeah. I
And they're
mean,
getting hard to find, the ammo itself.
Yeah.
I know, is it misplaced moose? Not misguided moose, which the moose. Everyone knows moose.
yeah.
Moose was on a live. He was on. It was Get Off My Lawn, and so we all know about Moose's giant mega sniper rifle.
Yep.
Well, he's shared the rights with that with a friend of his who's working on the Mega XL variant of that sniper
Right.
rifle. So it's
That'd
going
be
to be 200 FPS Mega XL with rifling with a B car. That's too much for our games.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
interested to see, just
If
because
that
I
can
was
work.
telling you guys, like from
Yeah.
working with like the Gauntlet XL, like you kind of realize like those Mega XL darts are like they're like weird sausages. Like some of them new from the box are like they're kind of bent,
Yeah.
curved, or like I'm not going to
Interesting
go
to see
into
how that goes.
I'm curious, like even like if you take it a size down to Mega, like is Mega sticking around, or are we seeing the end of that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, Mega's still popping up in new blasters. Like it's still popping up in occasionally in like mostly like Fortnite stuff. Like
yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see like now that Nerf is going with the N1 dart and phasing out Elite. You know, will they just try to put all their eggs into N1? Like it could well be the end of Mega as well, which is a shame. Like to me, one of the most fun things about Nerf is that you have all of these different calibers, which is something I don't think we use enough in games. Like we didn't use any caliber specific stuff today either, but like I always want to do more with that, and I would like to in future, like having
associate it to like an objective, maybe.
you know, even having rocket like I've ran parties for sure where I had like rocket objectives. Like if you hit this pop up tent that's like the base, if you hit that with a rocket, you win. Like,
I wish the Acu Strike Megas, I would love to find, because they're relatively more accurate,
yeah.
right? I'd love to find a box, but go like and look online, and you're paying like more than like more other ammo, right?
There's so much. I have a bunch of AccuStrike Mega that I bought from Toys on the Side one year, but just over time I've kind of like opened them up and like added them to the dart pool, and which is a real death to
You know
the
what?
darts.
It's funny.
I'll just jump in real quick. Captain Shotgun's heading out, so if you want to say that.
Well, thank you, Captain Shotgun, for coming by. I'll make sure I hook up you and Joe sometime. Send me a note if I forget. I have good
Absolutely.
intentions, but a bad memory.
I will also make sure that happens, Captain Shotgun.
Awesome. Thanks for coming by, dude.
Yeah.
I find though, when it comes to ammo in general, it's just one of the biggest misconceptions, and I didn't necessarily know this coming in, and like one of the things that kind of bugs me, like when you like go to like on like maybe like a marketplace, comes with like this big bag of ammo. I'm like, that only lasts you really a few runs, and then like as you use your darts, they slowly kind of like lose their value.
Even a few runs is questionable. Like chances are that bag of ammo is trash.
It's trash.
Yeah.
And like, running events, you're like, oh, okay, well, like that is like putting it in our costs. Like we have to buy new darts every round, and like, okay, this is how it goes. And I always laugh though, like that, like seeing like a bag full of darts on those sales, or in the mags. That one drives me nuts.
That's the worst.
Put this message on Facebook like, do not store your darts in mags. But I mean, parents don't want to hear me rant about that.
They don't. I've definitely am one of those people who sent notes to people on Marketplace for things I was not going to buy, going, "Hello, those blasters are primed
Actually,
in the photo. You might want to do something about that if you actually want anyone to buy them."
Oh,
Yeah, my son's just trying to save for this, and you're like, ugh, like I've done that too.
Yeah, no, I'm the worst. I'm the worst for that.
Before he left, Captain also was singing the praises of his new Bandu Labs A1 Mini.
Oh, he got the A1 Mini. I've been recommending that thing all over town.
That's the printer to buy.
$249 Canadian. For like just an amazing printer, and it has a smaller print bed. But I was saying to these guys, I printed a Lidl Dynamics Giesel on it, and it's like a blaster that's this long because a lot of those big pieces are vertical. Anyone thinking about getting into printing, you'd be nuts not to get an A1 Mini. And even the regular A1 is like $349 Canadian, which is, I don't know, like it's like $17 American. I don't know what the exchange is, but it's like
About that.
It's
Yeah.
about $300.
yeah. So anyway, it's pretty pretty good. It's a good time to get into printing. That's for sure.
Yeah, their whole line has changed the game. I couldn't recommend a non-bamboo printer to someone new at this point.
Well, you're saying even like, because kind of being on the side watching people and hearing their complaints and being a safe place to rant. Some of them you really have to put. If it doesn't work, you got to put a work in and figuring out the part goes into. Bamboo's like you're telling me is like exchangeable parts and stuff, like kind of plug and play.
I did have a pretty critical clog that like filament went all up in through the print head, and I was like, oh man. And I was able to just like from the Bamboo site order the entire the entire assembly. So like, I mean, some people would be like, oh, you're replacing things you didn't need to replace. I don't want to scrape plastic meticulously from around a bunch of like sensitive stuff. I just took the end off, put in the new end. It was reasonably priced. I think it was like $40 Canadian, so like $3 American. And I was like, back off to the races.
That's really good. I need some new Prusa parts, and I'm looking at a lot more than that. That's really good.
I don't
and just to take it all apart to put it back in, because like you're off by a mil, and then you know what I mean. Like, what's the where you going?
It comes down to me that like printing isn't my hobby, and I know some people like tinkering, like building their own printer. Like all power to you. And I can get that if printing was my hobby. Printing is not my hobby. Nerf is my hobby. Printing is a tool, just like my soldering iron and my other stuff. And when it doesn't work, I am enraged. I just want it to work, and I want it to print my parts.
Makes them more accessible.
So I can put them in a blaster, and then like I can mess up the blaster, and then get angry about that. But at least my parts are okay.
Hey.
Anyway.
No rants here.
Rant over. No rants here. I wonder, I got the old chat up on screen. I might go, let people see more of us. Yeah, there we go. More of us. Oh, there we are. What a crew. Camera rate. This is where I wish I had 3 cameras. I'd love to have like a nice close camera.
You're just passing.
Little over 11. I usually like to keep a stream to an hour, and we're a little over. We get indulgent, but we have visitors. I just want to go around. I want to go around across the room and see today of all the types of games we played. Kind of what was your favorite moment and or game, and why? Start with you, Joe.
Okay. Favorite rounds, honestly, were the 2-on-2 rough cuts, or the or all person for themselves.
Free for all
rough cuts. But for me, I think sort of the moment of the day was Jeremy and his Matrix. Because again, like, this is someone I'd never met. I had no idea if he had ever played Nerf in his life, or where he was at. And a lot of people, when they're new, that's their first time. It's a matter of getting the hang of how things work. And he's out there moving around, doing really well, Matrix dodging shots, and played excellently. And so meeting him and making a new friend was kind of the highlight for me, probably.
Like that. Good answer.
I appreciate coming to an event and it not be one that I
I get that. Yeah.
I feel like it's like, I mean, Mando is on my case sometimes for like, oh, you're always arbitrating, you're always looking over, and getting to like kind of just, especially like pro, because we play like I mean, again, I love my kids, like they're wonderful, and my youngest arbitrates and stuff, but it's nice to just take a step back and just kind of have a little bit of competitiveness, and it was just nice.
And you don't have to worry about anyone getting hurt. Like, everyone who's here today knew what they were getting. Like, you don't have to be like, I hope like someone who came with their kids, I hope they don't like get hit in the ear and cry.
Yeah, because the whole like, my blaster is jammed, and like I think
even jammed is polite. Usually I get, this is broken.
Yeah, this
like,
is stupid.
It's not broken.
Well, you know what?
You're broken.
Like at our events, it's like, it is normal. Your blasters will jam. When it does, put it on the table and take one of those 6-shooters and go. And if not, just like whatever. Like,
for sure.
But I mean, it's good. No, I really appreciate it, and that appreciate both of you. And honestly, maybe even the poop sweep was kind of nice, because it kind of reminded me of home. And now you got a lot of deer.
A lot of deer.
Excuse me. That's pretty funny. Because it was in the backyard, I do get a lot of deer, and we have a dog. So we didn't step in anything. We did I tried to pick up after the dog, but not the deer. So we did a big poop sweep. Andrew, aka Dart Sweep, if you're around Maryland, you probably know him. So we made sure we sent him a video of us all yelling, "Poop sweep!" sweep. So I think he enjoyed. That. But yeah, the poop. I like that you called it the poop sweep as a good time. How about you, Matt?
Well, I do enjoy. If I'm going to play anything, it's more up on the FPS than the pro side. I really like plinking people from far away.
Yeah.
Good at it.
However,
hiding behind those.
Yeah.
That cover.
A highlight of the day was my 2 melee kills.
Oh yeah.
Let's kill.
Yeah,
The
you get
ugly
some
round, right?
the awful.
Yeah,
the
the
awful
awfuls
round,
round.
Yeah, because you were using the
Let's kill. No.
Brain saw.
brain saw. Is that the? Yeah, that's
Rough
the
cut with the
Rough cut
chainsaw.
with the blade on it.
You know what? I always call that thing a rough cut. It does not fire 2 darts at once.
No, it's one at a time.
for
Yeah,
the
so you
arrow.
actually
I'm
have
like-
more shots with it.
I'm like, why didn't they make it a rough cut? I always thought it was a rough
Yeah.
cut, but yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Melee kills are fun. You seem like someone who would actually really enjoy, like given the right environment, like having a big shield, and just like sneaking up on people and like bopping people with like a melee weapon.
Not in this last Maryland Mayhem, the first Maryland Mayhem. At 11th hour, I did follow a guy around with a shield.
Oh,
sword,
yeah.
and I just followed behind him,
Yeah,
flicking people as he cut them down.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, how about you?
Yeah.
I think for me, it really had to be actually getting some tags in with that shotgun because I was super happy to be able to tell Sandshard Labs that I actually like, not because it's one thing to be like, and I have said like, I really, really like it. It's really, really fun. It's a whole other thing to actually be like, hey, I used your blaster. Like, I don't know how many of these exist. Maybe there's 4 or 5 of these in the world right now. I used your blaster and actually like got some tags. It was actually super practical. He actually checked in with me the other day just to be like, oh, like how's it treating you? I'm like, it's still great. I'm going to do a review at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So like that kind of felt good because I was really, I'm always really happy if like I have a blaster of someone that someone designed and I can give good feedback, like, and be able to just like have it be all positive is great. I know it always felt good for me to get good feedback about like the Gauntlet XL or something like that. So it's, that was probably my favorite part. And just, I think that all of us kind of had like a bit of a chuckle at like, oh, this is actually useful.
Yeah,
like,
it was
not
pretty,
useful.
It was
like,
pretty good.
not that everyone here enjoys something silly for the sake of being silly, but I think it was probably more effective than we expected.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was definitely smiling as you made it rain. Yeah.
So no, that was pretty fun. In the chat, any last questions before we call it a night? Thanks to everyone who came by. Really appreciate it. We didn't give people a lot of notice on this one. Thanks to Matt for making his way back over here after a parade and the streets were blocked and he just had to
Get it back.
I assumed it was just like making your way through the apocalypse to get back here. So I really I should give you a chance to look like a hero.
He just
I don't think it.
You're so
the
modest.
copter and just skipped it all. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. Did you take?
I landed it back.
Oh, great.
The fuel's empty.
We'll have to do a poop sweep on the helipad. The Nerfapad. Nerfapad? I don't know. All right, everybody. Yeah, thanks so much for coming by. And we're gonna get back to streaming a little bit more regularly. I think I've really missed it, but now that I'm moved in here and have like a nice open space, I'm really excited too. Like for when we do stream, just having a bit more space. Matt and I in the past, like we've literally been sandwiched in between like a desk and a workbench, and with not a lot of room to really. Excuse me, not that we're like singing and dancing in here, but it'll be nice if we do take out a blaster or something, we can actually like stand up and like gesture around.
This is a really nice space.
Yeah, this is beautiful. This is great.
I'm happy about it. There won't be a lot of cars kept in here. This is
yeah, no,
not a car garage.
No, neither's mine.
No.
I get it. It's the same.
It's just a little place to come and.
Yeah, you need your space though, and you should have a place where you can be creative and hang out and have like a clubhouse. Have your friends over.
Everyone needs a little bit of room.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope all of you have a little bit of room too. Yeah. And if you don't, well, maybe someday. Or come up here and hang out. Mm-hmm. I'm going to shut this stream down. I'm always really bad at ending a stream. We'll go down through. We'll cycle through these different cameras. There's target cam. Bye, target camera. Good night.
Awesome. Well done, friends.
Yeah, nice.
Well done.
I think this is at your